I just feel like something was missing in this film. I'm not quite sure what, but something. It was definitely something. And I'm ready to get into that and more into my review right now of the new film, Night's End. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Night's End, which is going to be releasing on Shudder March 31st. Now, this film stars Geno Walker, Kate Arrington, and Michael Shannon, just to name a few. Our lead is Geno Walker, who is a guy who's basically running a self-help video blog, and it's not doing really well. He's a content creator, and I think he's feeling the pressure of it. He's trying to figure out ways to continue to thrive. Upon one of his streams, a viewer noticed that something fell behind him out of nowhere, and thus everybody, started to throw all sorts of reactions and stuff in his comments, like paranormal activity, ghosts, whatever it may be. So he decides to do research on the place he lived at, to come to find out that there was actually a murder in his place years ago. So possible this could be a ghost. But also, he didn't realize that, there is a huge community for paranormal lovers and investigators and all that other sorts of stuff. Thus, that review that he done did better than his other one. So he figures like, well, I might as well just go full tilt in this. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's a little bit of a risky thing, because don't forget, you living in a place that you realize that a murder happened, that there may be a ghost in it. But of course, he decides to do his homework and talking to other content creators, getting the attention of one of the bigger channels in dark corners, and saying, what should I do? And of course, them as content creators like, well, let's do it. Where they want to provoke the spirit in order to, put out content and whatnot. So with that being said, first thing I will say, unless I put a bow on what this film is about, he's playing with demons, and we all know how that ends. All the time. Don't play with demons, folks. Entities, paranormal activities, none of that. Don't do that stuff. We all know how this plays out. But for folks who have a passion or niche for paranormal activity, ghost hunting, or anything of that sort, I think you're going to ultimately love this. I don't mind it, but I don't love it. And I feel like the tone of this and sort of just the overall direction of this feels pretty campy, but it also feels very true to that product and to that genre and that community. So if you love those things, because you know how that stuff is, it's always overreactions and very explanatory and whatnot, and characters on characters and whatnot. I think this is just the complete embodiment of that, just in a feature-length film. And actually, this film is pretty short. It's only 82 minutes. And I think the pacing is pretty good as well, too, because things happen quickly in this and whatnot. And I also think that Geno, as our lead here, I thought he really did a fantastic job in keeping us interested, because, he's going through a lot of different things, and I think that at the same time of him trying to just figure out a way to manage, but also trying to figure out a way to survive and actually not knowing what to do, I think a lot of his reactions are pretty natural to what one of us would do. You know what I mean? But with that being said, don't play with demons. The moment that they started to say, we're going to use the spirit jar to call forth the spirit, but then to call forth the spirit, but then to capture another spirit. All right, folks, what are we doing here? You play stupid games, you get stupid rewards and whatnot. But like I said, the film's a little campy. It's a little creepy at times. And even at other times, it's a little bit boring, because it's just, I don't know, it just wasn't like nothing going on. I think we were kind of in the mind of Geno's character of just trying to understand what he's feeling, what he's going through. And I feel like that's sort of at times felt like a little bit of distraction to what overall is going on. I mean, if you're living in a haunted house, I don't think you have a moment to breathe. I think you have to figure things out right away. Like if you're dealing with, just being anxious of your new movement and whatnot, you're gonna have to figure it out quick, man, because there's some deadly entities on the way. You know what I mean? But like I said, sometimes it felt a little bit boring, or maybe I was just a little disinterested as to what was happening. But beyond that, there was some jump scares that didn't flip the whole coin of that, which was good. You know what I mean? And I thought that The editing was kind of trippy at times. I think some people's going to like it, some people won't. Again, if you are a fan of anybody that's into any type of paranormal entity activity or anything of that, I think it works right down your alley. I didn't mind it, but I think some people may have a problem with it, you know. The special effects, wasn't a fan of it at all. That's where I really felt like this was truly where it was campy. Or if not, it was just really like paying homage to like old school horror. Like it definitely was very, very noticeable and very much this kind of like, oh, that looks very wonky. You know what I mean? But it's how, you know, old school horror kind of used to be. So if that was their whole destination, then I get it. And it's an independent film, so it could also be just a production thing in total. But it's super noticeable, whatever, however you want to call it. But with that being said, with it being such a short watch, I definitely still think it's worth a watch. And it's on Shudder, and I think that's, you know, if you have Shudder, which you should have Shudder, I think you totally should go out the way to check it out and make your own assessment of it. Because it wasn't a bad film. It just wasn't pointed towards me. I just didn't have a good time with it. And I think there will be other folks that would like this a lot because it doesn't lack, I feel, for its target audience. But if it's not you being the target audience, then you're going to kind of like, yeah, this is kind of, I don't know. But hey, this is Nights In. Jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about it when you check it out. And as always, stay tuned for more movie reviews very soon. Big gold bell,